lovers, the moon is a thing of beauty. But to this man it is a deadly curse. When the moon is full, this miserable wretch turns into a hairy, snarling half-man, half-beast. Prowls the night, his fangs thirsty for human blood. He is a werewolf.
Hello, welcome to the Werewolf by Night podcast, the show where we talk about Marvel's #1 lycanthrope, Jack Russell, a.k.a. the Werewolf, a.k.a. the Beast, a.k.a. the Shaggy One. I'm your co-host, Jacob Balcom.
And I'm Matt Howell.
See, switching it up, because you took a week off, and I'm like, yeah. What's going on? No, I'm Matt Howell, and that other guy's Jacob. Yep. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, nice to see you again. It was weird taking a week off. I missed you.
It was. I missed you too. It was. I didn't realize how much this is like cleaning the pipes.
Yeah.
Brain pipes.
It's a therapy for sure.
Folks, thanks for joining us. We had a plan to have a couple Australian fellows who are comic book fans and big fans of Moon Knight on for the first appearance of Moon Knight. But unfortunately, some family stuff came up and some scheduling issues, so we had to push that out a week. But the good news is they'll be here next week for the second part of this Moon Knight introduction story. So we'll get to dive in with them. But those folks will be a guy named Ray, who hosts the Into the Night podcast, which is a Moon Knight podcast, and my good friend Andrew Shaw, who is a stellar guy, and he's been on That's Cool, That's Trash several times. We've been friends through comic book forums for 15 years now, and he's, I think, the certified biggest Moon Knight fan on the planet. But we'll settle that out next week when they're here.
Sounds good. I'm excited.
Let's talk a little bit about Moon Knight, though. I think the obvious thing here for the folks that aren't following along at home by reading digitally or through a collection, we probably should introduce this character because this is his first appearance. And he was introduced as not a villain necessarily, but a villain to our main character of our book, but more as a mercenary who was hired to do a job. And I feel like Jacob and I were just speaking earlier that it's pretty obvious this guy no one had any idea, which happens probably a lot in comics, that this character would still be around today and would be in 2022 played by Oscar Isaac on the Disney Plus streaming service. He's a fan favorite. He's been around a long time. So his introduction is kind of a little interesting because he's just a guy who's hired to wear moon themed getup and grab the werewolf.
Yeah, it's a very simplistic origin that we're going to get in this 2-issue arc. His origin gets a little more, actually a lot more fleshed out as different incarnations happen over the years. And this is very simple, but a lot of stuff that is core to the character did show up first in this issue. Like, he's a mercenary. That's a huge part that has carried over into, many iterations of the character. The costume is pretty much all there. Frenchie's there. There's a helicopter. Frenchie is his sidekick, and he's comedic relief. Maybe not intentional, but so a lot of the ingredients are there. But for people who are just familiar with the Sienkiewicz run on into the Bendis did a run, Jeff Lemire did a run, lots and lots of people did really cool stuff with the character. And so if you're more familiar with the modern take on Moon Knight, this is going to seem a little silly.
Yeah. And that makes sense. And that's fair. But we'll dive in a little bit more to that. But I think that, again, if you don't know this character that well, I think the shorthand here is the dismissive DC zombie kind of read on this is he is Marvel's broke dick Batman.
Yeah, that's the hot take and the wrong take.
It's completely lazy take. I've hated that. That has been around for decades, and I think it's completely sloppy and disingenuous.
Yeah, I have lots to say on that we'll probably save for when we're talking to the fellas next week, because I'm sure they have lots of things to say on that as well.
Yeah. My pat response to that, like on Twitter, is always just, no, Batman is a ripoff of the Shadow, and Moon Knight is based on the Shadow.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then fuck you. I'm already bored talking to you. So we will dig into all that stuff. Sure. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to talking to those guys next week and hearing their funny talk. Like have them say koala and shrimp on the bobby and.
Oh, get it all out now so you don't embarrass us next week.
Fosters. Australian for Fosters.
Oh boy.
Energizer.
Yeah, get it all out.
Young Einstein. I'm doing it. I'm
okay. Did you make a Yahoo Serious? Okay, yeah, young Einstein.
Young Einstein.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Vegemite.
There, it's all there.
Koalas, wallabies.
Oh.
Dingo ate your baby. I'm almost done.
Okay.
Just that. Just a couple drops left to shake out and
all right,
tuck it in, zip up. Okay, I could recite that whole Simpsons episode, but I'm not going to. We'll just leave it.
Oh, see, I would prefer that to anything else. So yes, apologies, Ray and Andrew. We got it all out of our system.
Yep. I'm not going to do the dumb joke I do when Canadians and other folks come on the show and I tell them I have Google Translate up, all that stupid stuff. I love dad jokes.
Man, that's a lot of dad joke.
I rode that hard though, and when I was in Japan, every time I got in a car with somebody, I'd put my hand on the dashboard and be like, don't panic, but the steering wheel is on the wrong side.
Wow.
Killed over there. Killed.
It really killed.
Yes.
Like for real, you think?
It's delivery, dude. No,
okay,
this is not Japanese
right.
politeness. I'm a consummate jokester.
No, you are. Your timing is excellent. So I'm going to give you that. I imagine that you truly did entertain those cabbies.
No, weren't cabbies. No, these were friends. Yeah. These were people that were like friends of our hosts. Anyway.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Still killed.
Good. Good for you.
And that's a great society, by the way, where you can get on a bike at 2 a.m, drunk out of your mind, and ride to a vending machine, which people just have outside of their houses. It's just kind of a little extra way to make money. Like,
wow.
Yeah. And you could get a fifth of whiskey or a big thing of beer.
Wow.
Some Golden Bat cigarettes. You can get it all through a vending machine.
God, that sounds great.
Fortunately, you can get panties as well. I don't understand that one.
Yeah, well.
But I love Japan. And we're big there. We just start saying it. We have to realize, you know what I mean? It's like The Secret.
Yeah.
We're huge in Japan.
Yeah.
But this week, we're going to talk about Werewolf by Night number 32, which I think is, by all measures, the most famous issue of this run.
By
the
far.
most expensive. I was putting together a library bind of the first couple Moon Knight things, and I picked up a bunch of them from Excalibur Comics over the years when they had that big 50-cent sale. You know, you get something that was like $4 or $5 and, you know, whatever, or $3 an issue. And, you know, that's how you get your runs together and make it affordable. But I have like 3 issues missing from like the first Moon Knight run and the, what was the one where they kind of redefined him? The Fist of Khonshu, that 6-issue miniseries in like 85.
Yeah. I always forget about that one.
I like that one. But yeah, there was a couple odd issues here and there I don't have. One of them being, I think, 29, the one that has Werewolf by Night on the cover, the big wolf head dripping blood out of its teeth.
Such a badass cover.
And that was in that episode of Werewolf that we reviewed on the show. But that one, I understand that one going for more. I think some of this is that speculator bullshit. Once Disney said Moon Knight's coming and Oscar Isaac is playing Mark Spector, all the prices just went up 300% on every goddamn resale site.
Well, that too. And I gotta say, I don't understand it, but yeah, something about, 15 months of a pandemic has just made collectibles that you basically would wipe your ass with 2 years ago, and now they're just worth it. Baseball cards are worth money again.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Explain that one to me.
I should sell the rest of my dad's collection because they were barely worth putting in bicycle spokes, for a while.
Yeah, no, it all goes for insane amounts of money now. So
yeah,
good, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that was another thing. I was putting together another Werewolf by Night run, that stuff that comes after the series ends, and there was like issue 47 of Spider-Woman from the late 70s run, was like $50-$60.
That's insane. It should be $1.
And it features
$1.
Killer Moth.
Yeah.
Come on. Is that her name? Gypsy Moth.
Gypsy Moth, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know.
So I'm a little bitter.
Yeah. Yeah, you should be.
That being said, I'm sorry, I had a point here. And my point was I saw how much Werewolf by Night number 32 was going for.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And it's up in the thousands. Low 4 digits.
Yeah.
Rated like 9 and above.
Okay.
Like 9.5 and above. Like I saw one for like 1,000 or 2,000.
Oh, I saw one for much more than that.
Really?
Yeah.
But not 5 digits, though. Like nothing that high.
Oh yeah. I mean, not 5 digits, but definitely over $5,000 I saw. But really? those ones that are graded like 9.6 or something. There's just not many of them in existence. So those are the ones that are going to go. No, I saw one go for $5,000 to $7,000 in great shape.
But I always just want to contact these people.
I know
that have these things I want to say. I will PayPal you. You can pull this out of your bank or whatever in 24 hours. I will give you a third what you're asking. I mean, how many of them would bite? I feel like most of them would be like, well, sir, I'm going to tell my mother about this right now. And she's going to be incensed. Yeah,
but like I say, things have changed in the last 15 months. A lot of people have some dough to spend. And, things are not cheap right now, which enrages me.
It makes me a little irritated as well. I had some binding projects I thought I would do over the pandemic, and I couldn't afford to do them. Like, it's cheaper for me to buy the Moon Knight omnibus that came out in the end of 2020 than it is to bind these ones that I already have. Like, just closing up my last handful of issues I need would be more expensive than buying the omnibus.
No, and this is where we double down on binding. If someone gives you shit like, oh my God, Werewolf by Night 32, how could you bind that? And this is where we double down and just 2 middle fingers up and just be like, no, this is punk rock, my friend.
I love you. Okay, so let's dive in.
All right.
This is expensive, and I'm looking at my mutilated copy here, and I've got a chub going.
The spine has been chopped off of that.
Yes. I'm sure the comic book guy from The Simpsons will be vomiting right now and putting that corpse shit that like Clarice puts under her nose when. Oh dear God!
Yeah.
So this cover here is by Gil Kane and Al Milgrom, I believe. It's an interesting little scene. We've got the Moon Knight and the werewolf down in one of those kind of sunken, I don't know what you call these, like those, it's like a sunken stairwell that goes to a side exit of an apartment building.
I know.
I'm sure there's a name for that, but you guys don't know what I'm talking about. There's a garbage can down there tipping over. There's people up at the street level looking down, shocked. And the Moon Knight is holding a fistful of these crescent moon blades that are one of his trademark, like his battering. Again, lazy, but...
I know. It's shorthand.
So the beast has a bunch of them stuck in his fur, and he's yowling in pain and falling. And this poor blonde woman.
Every issue.
I swear she's the same woman. And I just was like thinking to myself, like, she is the unluckiest woman in the multiverse. Like, wherever she goes, a werewolf and a monster start fighting, and she falls down for some reason. Her heel breaks, and she just screams in terror.
No, she is perpetually in distress, which is, I just feel bad for her.
This is 1975, so I don't know why there's the woman in peril still going on, but like, I feel like the monster stakes are still pretty high without having a woman being threatened. Like, the monster has a bunch of silver blades stuck in him, and he's screaming in pain. You don't need a woman there.
No, I don't need a reaction to tell me that that's frightening.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I've always thought was weird about this. So if you folks haven't seen Moon Knight, he has a bodysuit that's essentially he's had many, many different costumes, but this one is kind of his classic first early one, and we're meant to think it's silver, like some kind of silver mesh or something. It appears kind of white with heavy black shadowing and stuff, but he has a cowl on with a cape, and the cape is weird because it's got these striated things that come from the neck of the cowl, and it reminds me of Ditko's hawk. The way it has those weird, Hawk has those like strands of like feathery capey things, or the Creeper, or like, do you remember New Universe Night Mask, that Marvel character?
Yeah, and it's funny you're all mentioning characters that visually don't quite work.
Yeah. And the weird thing is, so he has those like striated like sections, and they all bind at his wristband, like connect from the neck of his cowl, and then go out and flare out and then connect at his wristband. Like they're connected, like it's a weird shawl.
Yeah.
It's such a weird design. I kind of like it. The other thing that's weird to me is that he appears to have red goggles on his face mask. He's a white face mask.
I'm pretty sure that this cover is the only time that ever happens in the history of the character.
Yes. I've never seen it ever again.
So when I was looking at the credits for this cover, because I was just like, okay, the red eyes, like I get it. They're trying to make it pop to the 12-year-old that is, at the supermarket. But I'm like, all right, who did that? And you look, and even on GCD, the color credit for the cover is never given, not once.
Yeah, good point.
They'll give the letterer. And that made me think that maybe the covers are done by like the color supervisor, whether it's a George Rousseau at this point or, So yeah, it was curious. I didn't have anyone to blame, and that upset me.
So color supervisor, would that be like the color equivalent of an art director?
Yeah,
like
I was kind of just that's in charge of the coloring department.
Okay.
I think George Rousseau held that title for a while in the early 70s. And so I don't know, but it's never given. And it's always like a big question mark too. So But that's weird. Like every part of fucking Marvel comic history is documented, but color credits for all these major covers are hardly ever given.
Good point. So so this is happening. This battle here, the Beast is being bested by this Moon Knight, and he's saying, "You haven't a chance against Moon Knight, monster. For the harder you fight, the quicker you die." And in the bottom, there's a little circle that says, "Can even a werewolf battle a man clad in solid silver and survive?" It's not my favorite cover, to be honest.
No, I don't like this cover at all.
Okay, good. I've never liked this cover.
No, I don't. I just think the angle and the action of Moon Knight does a disservice to the character and the design of the character. This is, I don't like this cover. I don't like anything about this cover. And yeah, that's probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but I don't like it.
Yeah. Like it's what I imagine that Peter Parker turns into J. Jonah Jameson, like those where it's like he just stuck his camera up with webbing on the wall and just started fighting somebody, and it's like, this is blurry, this is out of focus, it's kind of a weird angle. Like, I was hiding, like it looks like a Peter Parker photo. That's not a compliment.
That is such a good description of this, because it is. It's just like some nerdy kid through the bars of one of the railings or something is taking this fucking photo. And yeah, I don't like it at all.
All right, let's move on then.
Okay. Creators for this issue are writer Doug Munch, artists Don Perlin, and then in very small letters underneath the Don Perlin credit is Howie Perlin,
age 7.
So yeah, let's take an aside about Howie Perlin. I think this is the right time to do this. So Howie Perlin was born in 1961. His first gig was at 11 years old, inking a story of his father's in the Charlton's Ghostly Tales. It's Ghostly Tales 99 from November of 72. He was 11 years old.
Is he better than Coletta on an off day? Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it, but so shit. I'm okay. So this is, goddamn, this is 75. So is he fucking 14?
He's 14.
He's 14. What the shit, man?
I don't know.
So he had a really short-lived comic career. Like he did a fine job inking this. Like how much of it he did, who knows? But
right.
But yeah, so if you look on GCD, he has like 8 credits or so, maybe less. I think maybe 6 credits. All of them are working with his father in some capacity. And then there's one credit from the 90s, like the early 90s, I think. And he colors one Nintendo comic from Valiant. And that was when his dad was the editor-in-chief at Valiant.
Forgot about that.
And, so it's Link, The Legend of Zelda 4 from August of 1990 that he colors.
Oh.
But yeah, so he just has a real short career just helping out his dad when his dad needed help, which I think is really sweet. And for a fucking kid, yeah, I know. He did great for a kid. Like I have no complaints about Howie Perlin. So yeah, kind of cool that he got to work with his dad and that one of his credits is on such a massive book, like this is a famous book. I know that these are, C-list Marvel characters, but still this is a key issue, and how cool for him to have that credit with his dad.
Agreed.
So I wasn't familiar with our letterer. Our letterer is Ray Holloway. I looked him up, and he was a pretty prolific letterer that started at Marvel in the 50s, I think in 1953 on one of the romance books. And he worked fairly steadily through the 80s, really, at both Marvel and DC. He was African-American, one of the few people of color working at Marvel in the 50s or the 60s or the 70s. And I found I found one bullpen photo of him online from 1977. And it's a group photo where he's seated between like Saul Brodsky and Stan Goldberg.
Wow.
And yeah, so I really tried to look and find out more about him, but I couldn't. It was really a cool story, though. I mean, all of his credits, he did so much work. He did great lettering work. And then our colorist is Phil Rachelson, but they basically just cut off half of his name in the digital version. Is it same in the print?
Yeah, and yes, it reminds me of A Study in Scarlet. The name that's written in blood above the fireplace. Isn't it something like Racha?
It is. It looks like Racha. But so yeah, Phil Rachelson, who's been on the book a couple of times before, but they didn't feel it necessary to fit his whole name into the box. I guess yet another instance of, the colorist kind of getting jerked around.
Yeah.
But we've made progress. Like we live in the era now. You have the superstar colorist like Jordi Belair or Matt Wilson, like we've come a long way,
baby.
Yes. And so our editor is Len Wein, and the title of the story is The Stalker Called Moon Knight. So yeah, the story begins with like a full page illustration of Moon Knight just beating the shit out of the werewolf. The opening narration reads, "Tough, I usually ain't." Okay. But when the full moon pokes its ugly puss into my life, I turn into the werewolf, and nobody messes with a dude dressed in fur, claws, and pure mean. So why didn't somebody tell that to the Stalker Called Moon Knight, which leads right into there. But people mess with the werewolf all the time. So yeah, that whole thing didn't make a whole lot of sense.
So it's better than she was a sweet, tender little 7-year-old and I was
oh my God.
Blah, blah, blah from last issue. But
yeah, that was horrifying.
Until he said pure mean, I was like, this isn't Doug Munch.
I know, but pure mean, that couldn't be anybody but Doug.
This is some pulp horseshit from the 40s.
Yeah, I know. His writing is rough in these issues. I'm just going to come out and say it. But anyhow, the narration continues. Fast, brutal, and armed with everything to produce a scream. He was wasting me, with no doubt about it. And every time I tried to slash back at the weirdo, my hand exploded in a fire labeled agony. We see, and we'll find out later, but we see that the beast is working injured. He has an injured hand with little injury lines around it to demonstrate.
Yes. Even here, there's a yellow sunburst around his right claw to show that it's screaming in pain.
Yes.
So there's a little touch of that kind of, I don't know, man. Like the poster saying the title of the book.
It's like an Eisner.
Yeah.
It's really trying.
One thing I do like about Moon Knight in almost every iteration is that he's clad in silver that often looks white, but the shadow and blackness is so much a part of it just by shading. I've always thought that was a cool thing.
No, it's very cool.
Visually represented. I
do like the illustration of Moon Knight here on the opening page a lot better than the... and, God bless him. I know both of us love Al Milgrom, mainly for editing Marvel Fanfare, the entire run of Marvel Fanfare, which, both you and I worship. But I just don't know if Al Milgrom did a great ink job on that cover. I think he made it too busy and weird.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. think he was over inking.
Yeah, agreed.
So we have Moon Knight here clutching his fists together and swinging his fists up and punching the beast in the face, throwing him back into a garbage can. But in the background, we have more ghosts. Remember the ghost nurse from the Deprave storyline?
Yes.
This looks like some type of mannequin boy who, through a miracle of faith or black magic, became a real boy for one night, and he got to see a superhero fight.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that when you see stuff like that in the background, I'm going to say that's probably the teenage boy, Howie.
Weird. There's a little buddy next to him who's got a hat on, and you just see the top half of his head over Moon Knight's cowl. They look like something you'd shoot at in a shooting gallery.
It does. Oh my
Standees.
God. It's so funny.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. So on the next page, we find out that yes, indeed, the beast has a broken hand, and he's crouching down and growling at Moon Knight, and we get to hear Moon Knight's voice. And again, this is an indication to me because of, the fact this guy went on to become a fan favorite and blah, 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 that this guy was intended just to be a one-off here, because he says, "Get up, you mangy freak. Get up so I can knock you back down again." It says even if his voice hadn't been muffled by a mask, the words still would have been Greek to the werewolf. But he gets the tone, and that enrages the beast, so he lunges towards him. If he could have used his right hand, he would have made red hash out of Moon Knight's face, which we saw last issue he can do.
Oh,
but his hand is broken. So he just ends up kind of clawing at him and just kind of growling, and it's just an awkward, weird embrace. And then he gets socked in the face by a cestus. It says it was called a cestus, as in glove, worn by gladiators in the arena. A cestus is spiked. These spikes were silver. Silver is hell on a werewolf. So I had to look this up, make sure this was a real thing, which I'm sure it was, but
yeah,
it is a thing. Of course, in Latin, it was probably cestus, just like Cyprus was Kyprus and all that stuff, but it is cestus. I don't know how long he wore these things in subsequent tales, but this is kind of a cool touch here, because if you are fighting a werewolf, you probably want to have silver pointy things wherever you could.
Yeah, definitely. I liked that so much of his costume is designed, because we find out later it was designed specifically to fight a werewolf. And so, his little silver crescent daggers and all those things, it makes more sense. And those stayed with him forever. And I'm not sure he has a cestus much longer after this, but yeah, it's kind of cool.
So after he gets punched, he falls to the floor of the alleyway, and Moon Knight says, "I hate cowards who run."
Yeah, I mean, if you can't tell already, Moon Knight's dialogue in this is just
rough.
Kind of atrocious. Yeah, sometimes in this period, in my brain, I've had to just make this concession that I really think that Doug had two voices. I think he had a voice for kiddie comics and a voice for the black and white magazines. And that's how I, can make sense of him being an excellent writer, but just write stuff like this where you're like, oh God.
Well, yes. And as we see later in the issue, when he kind of explains what his background is and why he is here, it kind of makes sense, because it's like he's portraying him as a kind of a leatherneck or just a military dude.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see that, but I mean, that's just kind of like you're saying, a lazy, not all dudes in the military, are thick-necked, tough guys like that, hardheads.
No, but in 1975, that was the portrayal of them for sure.
And also, I don't want to hear about this later, and when somebody reads the minutes of the meeting, there was a girl on the cover that was not being terrorized at all by the battle. So whenever we're lied to,
drink time.
So yeah, as we transition to ownership of pages here, as I was saying, the Moon Knight says, "I hate cowards who run." Jacob.
Following page, he says, "But even more, I hate cowards who fight only when they're cornered." So yeah,
I parsed that for like 5 minutes. Like, I was sober.
Yeah.
I thought through that, like I was stoned. Like, wait a minute. You have less respect for someone who fights when they're cornered for survival than you do for someone who just runs for the hills.
Honestly, his dialogue in this is like the Rhino or Molten Man.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
It's definitely got shades of both of those terrible dialogue characters.
Yeah.
So yeah, Moonlight lands a very specifically named kick called would you call it a savate kick? A savate?
I looked it up. It's a French
French kickboxing.
So it's savate. Yeah, like,
savate.
Like cravat.
Yeah. So yeah, I was looking it up too. So it's like kickboxing. It's like kickboxing with shoes. They like made it specifically like,
yes.
Oh no, there are shoes involved.
Yes, it's very much like kickboxing, but they wear shoes.
Yeah.
They're shod.
So that's cool.
Shod in a long time.
No, it felt good. Felt good to hear it. So yeah, then the next panel, we get some really cheesy crowd commentary. One guy's like, "Man, that guy's on a tornado on a rampage." And the other gentleman says, "I'm hip, but what's that other dude like? Lon Chaney and a mink?"
So let's talk about this guy.
Oh God, do we have to?
We don't have to, but
no, okay, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, do you know in Family Guy, the guy the bartender character that's an African American guy who's a very deep basso kind of voice? There's no way to not read this and that if you're reading it out loud for me. So he's wearing a what looks like a tam or like a cap. It's a hip urban 70s guy cap, but it has a tassel-y thing on the top.
I know. And
he's got like a polyester. So he has a matching outfit of a green tam with a beanie top and a polyester thing. And he has to say he's hip so that, he's from the streets.
Oh God.
He's been around, Jacob.
Yeah, he has. No, his outfit is pretty badass. But then I like the woman to the right of him is I kept wanting to think that that's somebody's partner or so. Yeah. Or no, she just looked like she might actually be a person.
Yeah.
That like Don Perlin knows.
Bernie Rosenthal or Bernie, who did Captain America date for a while? I forgot her full name.
Yeah, exactly.
So can I tell you a weird thing before we move on?
Yeah, of course you can.
I feel like this is going to be a very random episode.
Yeah.
I approached this one because I got I think I got this far in and decided I needed to entertain myself.
Okay.
Maybe that's a commentary on Munch, maybe not. I don't know how many masses you've gone to, but there's this thing that happens in Catholic Mass when the priests sing, but it's this amelodic, monotonous singing where it's like, and Christ gave his body and
okay.
Like they're reading from the Bible, but it's this thing. I did the entire book like this, but I did it not in a liturgical sense. I did it in a Godspell / hair pop rock opera reading. Every word in this thing I did, I sang it loudly because no one was home.
That's really amazing. And I applaud you, my friend. It has been, was it because of the heat? Did the heat hurt your brain a little bit?
The heat the heat dome cooked my brain a bit. And Athena's a cheerleader now. So she was at cheerleading practice and Renee was at work or something. So I was just like, fuck it. I got to keep myself awake for this one. So I was belting it out.
Oh, it's amazing.
I should have recorded it.
Yeah, you really should have. That should be an extra. Patreon, here we come.
But this guy was Barry White. Like I was doing my Barry White when that's what reminded me that I did that.
Okay, then.
Yes.
So, all right, let me see.
Sorry.
So yeah, Moon Knight whips some more, like we saw on the cover, he kind of whips out some silver crescent-shaped blades and kind of hurls 3 of them at the beast's chest. And I like that then it reads, the werewolf howled. It wasn't right. The moon was supposed to give him strength, fill him with savagery, not stab him with glaring pain. So yeah, I imagined the wolf being like, the moon's my friend. What are you doing, Moon? And then Moon Knight says, drop, freak, drop like the wounded beast you are. And it says another savate kick, this one from the erect position, and I fell into the requested drop. The beast is injured. He has fallen down, and Moon Knight is totally up, just ready to continue to kick his ass. And the narration reads, the werewolf strained to think, strained to remember how he'd come to face this death at such close quarters. And we go back in time and figure out how we got to this point.
I really like the panel in the dead middle of the page where Moon Knight is throwing the crescent. Does this have a name?
God damn it. I really was trying to figure it out.
Whatever his batarangs are that look like crescent moons. That panel's great.
Yeah. No, I loved it. That was an awesome panel.
And I love the way that they depict them sinking deep into the beast's chest, which looks very painful.
Yeah.
And then it looks like he dislocates his hip, kicking the beast so hard, like he looks like Rubber Man or something.
He does.
That's not a real thing. Just Elastic Man and Plastic Man. I know that.
Rubber Man.
That was actually a Seinfeld thing.
Yeah, love it.
George said Rubber Man. Is it a Rubber Man? So we jump back, and I'm going to kind of just give this page up more or less because this is just covering what happened last issue, that the snow thing happened. He attacked Buck. He hid afterwards and woke up and found his clothes. So
yeah, that's all we need to say about that page, honestly. And
yeah,
so,
my notes, though, are just that I feel like Munch not addressing the fact that the beast, we've talked a ton about how the Jack remembers through like a druggy haze or nightmarish recall what he did. And Munch not addressing that he does not remember what he did, even if it was trauma-based and he was doing it by blocking out something terrible, which is fine, but not addressing it and using it throughout the entire run up until now is a weakness in this writing, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Yeah, the writing is just kind of all over the place in these next 2 issues.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to say about this page was the upper right-hand one where it shows the beast slashing off Buck's face. That art is fucking gorgeous. Yeah. And Buck's face looks like Jack Kirby drew it, and I love Jack Kirby. So I love this panel. And the inking in this, the art in this thing, I love. It's the writing and characterization that I have most of an issue with. Just spoilers.
Yeah. No, we're definitely on the same page with that. So the next page, it switches back from, like you said, Jack finds his clothes, puts his clothes on, and then we switch to Buck, and we see that Buck's being rushed into surgery because, he's basically dying. The doctor says, "Nurse, this man is dying on the table." And so I did kind of like the pacing of this page.
Oh, yeah.
How it switches almost every other panel back from Jack kind of wandering around in the forest being like, "Where's Buck? I don't know where Buck is." And then we cut back every other panel to Buck basically just dying on the table. The doctor's like, "We need more blood, an emergency supply, fast."
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't like to, be that person who says like, that's so cinematic, because comics don't need to be cinematic at all. But this, I think, is very much borrowing from cinema or TV, and in a good way. Like the stillness of Jack just standing there, like in a film, he'd be like smoking a cigarette and just standing there and shivering and, rubbing his hands together, and then cutting to like this chaos of the hospital, just machines beeping, people yelling for backup blood and blah, blah. And like, that's what this is doing. And it's really effective, even when it's there's no motion.
Yeah, there's a few pages in this, and it was really interesting reading this and taking notes on it. And I had so many times where I'm like, fuck, this dialogue and narration is terrible. But on multiple pages, I just was reminded that Don Perlin is a fucking master storyteller.
Yeah, totally.
Like, just, again, take all the words away and you know exactly what is going on.
Yep.
Like, just his angles, just his command of the medium is astonishing.
Yeah, we're in complete agreement here.
And so, it's kind of switching back. The doctor is freaking out. "I want the best available team of surgeons." He says in another panel, he's like, "Oh, this is some of the deepest lacerations I've ever seen." Another doctor says, "Yes, apparently inflicted by some sort of animal. Better append." Did they mean amend or append?
Well, I think amend. They're both right, but amend sounds more normal, more common.
And the report with a note for post-surgical rabies treatment, God providing the patient lives. And then it switches back to Jack, who has been hitchhiking. He gets picked up by a large man chomping a cigar. Cigar, who's complaining about the energy crisis, to remind us that it's the mid-70s. And he says, "Energy? I'll tell him that's where all your money's hiding these days, while the Texans and the Arabs are rolling in the green while the rest of us poor slobs feel the crunch." He's like, "Sure is a nice day, though, ain't it?" Yeah, so there's an energy crisis going on, Matt, in case you didn't get that.
I think you and I both know he didn't say Arabs.
He did not.
He
so
said Arabs.
he did. He did. And Jack is still kind of, upset. And the man's like, what's the matter, kid? Some cat get a taste for your tongue? God damn it. He just is going to, every line is just going to be as clunky as it possibly could be.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Let's go to the next page.
The terse intercutting of these two things keeps happening. Jack's day of where he's heading towards the irrevocable knowledge of what he did. So that's, high tension there with the tension of the doctors trying to save Buck's life. Again, it continues just that very effective contrast between the two things. So he flatlines and they call for a cardiovascular shock unit. Meanwhile, Jack goes home. They're going to go maximum voltage, doing the whole, cliche with the paddles clear, all that stuff. And Philip says, Jack, are you all right, son? He's like, sure, Dad. As all right as I ever am after the morning of a full moon. Why? And where's Lissa? And we cut back to the hospital and they're saying, well, there's nothing more we can do. And Philip says, you mean you don't remember? Like voicing all of our concerns.
Yeah.
You should remember. And he says, the narration says, I sensed it. And the doors began to open on what I'd always dreaded. And Jack says, remember what? What? And Philip says, Lissa's down at Westwood Hospital, Jack. Topaz called. Said your friend Buck was hurt, was mauled. He might not pull through, Jack. And it says the soft words slammed me, hit me like 1,000 crushing mountains. But my only reaction was numbness, disbelief. And there's this small type to indicate like just this like whisper like mauled. And Philip grabs his shoulders and says, easy, Jack. Just take it easy, son. This page continues what the previous page was, like you were saying, that great intercutting between the two scenes. Beautiful art across the board. No complaints about this at all.
No, it's a great page. And yeah, God, Perlin saves this issue.
Yeah, totally.
He really does.
And Howie.
No, totally going to give Howie credit. I know.
Wait.
But yeah, like you were saying.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Proceed.
Yeah, like you were saying, I loved, I really like Jack's face at that bottom there. Like it conveys a lot of emotion. I love the lettering and mauled. I love how small and kind of, insignificant it seems. Like, yeah, the lettering too is really spot on this issue. Yeah. And I know you're not supposed to notice it, but I kind of like it when I notice it, where you just know when someone's doing like such a good job and has such a command of the medium.
Right. It's like editing in film, right? I mean,
yeah.
It's the invisible hand that makes the magic, but at sometimes, Baby Driver or something, you're like, well, you want to see a little bit of a flair here.
Yeah.
So yeah. And by the way, that panel of where the doctor's saying like, that's all we can do for him. That's gorgeous. And that could have been in any number of romance or nurse or young women's, comics, the whole like Nurses in Love or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
But a great profile of that guy.
I'll have to send you some pictures of some of in my romance comic collection that Alicia and I have, our small like little golden age one. We like the nurse ones, and there's some really funny covers. But yeah, that you're right. That's totally the spirit of those. So yeah, on the next page, Jack is freaking out. He's like, easy, I might have killed my best friend. Do you want me to take it easy? And Philip's trying to, hold him back. But Jack's like, out of my way. If Buck's dead, that's it. The werewolf's finished, and I mean it. And this great little skinny panel of Philip being like, I know, son, I know. And then we cut to Topaz at the hospital saying, no, Jack, I'm sorry. And he says, what do you mean you're sorry? I want to see Buck. And Topaz says, there isn't much to see, Jack. Jack's like, you mean Topaz says, no, Jack, not quite dead, but close to it. He's in a coma. And we see in the background, we see, God, what is Buck's lady's name? Elaine, that's right. So we see Elaine with Buttons sleeping on her, and she says, that's right, Buttons, just go to sleep, darling. Then in the narration, it continues, Topaz speaking, saying, and the doctors aren't sure that he'll come out of it. They say they've done all they can, that now it's just a matter of time, Jack. All we can do is hope and wait. And yeah, I do really love Jack's distressed face in that panel.
That last panel?
Yeah. His eyes are really big, and there's almost like a shaking lines around his head. Like he's he's shaking right now.
Well,
Like,
yeah, he's looking at Alyssa, who is losing her shit, and his composure is crumbling. Like, he's been holding it together long enough to get to the hospital and get updated, and now it's like breaking like a wave over him. It's great drama. This page, again, Perlin. Not that Munch did anything wrong, but gorgeous art on this page, and beautiful way of showing all this drama. I mean, Jack's yowl of pain in that first panel on the realization that he hurt his best friend is it's good. It's so good.
It's really good. It's really effective. And yeah, I mean, I guess we can thank Doug for not filling this page with a ton of words.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't need any. Like the last 2 pages haven't needed any words.
Yeah. I think you could have covered like maybe 1 or 2 word balloons per page on this and just had to be virtually. We've been saying this since Brad was on the last time. I mean, like,
I know.
You know, it's the era, I guess. But I think Doug is a little worse than even his peers are.
No, and it's the era too, but also Don Perlin has been working in the industry for a long time now, but I think he just has gotten better and better each issue. We keep saying this more and more as this run goes on. Like, he's not phoning it in.
Yeah, I don't know how we account for last issue, honestly, because that art was almost unreadable. And to bounce back with this with his son, maybe he was excited that he was sharing this with his son. I don't know, but the inking, like on the page where Topaz, we cut to Topaz at the hospital, just that heavy line around all the contours. It's just gorgeous. And all the little, you know, the variation in line.
Yeah, so cool.
Love it. And no one's calling anybody a mangy freak. Everyone's just doing their thing, man. So yeah, Jack was told they has to wait, just wait and see kind of thing. And there's this great panel on the next page where he's just clenching his fists and looking down at the ground. There's this heavy shadow under his brow, and he says, wait for what? And he starts getting really angry, and then he starts punching the wall. For the stinking moon again? And Topaz grabs him as tears are streaming down his face. Stop it, Jack, please. Control yourself, for my sake, if you don't care about yourself. I can't stand anymore, Jack, not now. And there's this beautiful panel of the two of them really close. It's like extreme close-up of the both of them. And he says, all right, Topaz, I'm cool now. And she's looking at his hand. There's like this radiating thing coming out of his hand showing that he broke his bones. So your hand, it might be broken. We better get a doctor to look at it. He's like, forget the lousy hand. It's fine. And he pulls it away as Elaine approaches them. And she's like, hey, you guys, why don't you go home and get some rest? I'm going to stay here because Buttons finally fell asleep. So I don't want to wake her up. So I'm going to stay here. You guys go home and get some sleep. And she's like, Alyssa, you too. You've been here for a long time. Go get some rest. And she says, well, if you want me to come and watch Buttons and you go get rest, whatever. And she's like, cool, I'll call you. And there's this really nice, this panel here where Jack and Topaz are facing each other while Buttons and Elaine are having this conversation. In the foreground on a hospital bench, Buttons is sleeping and she's colored by like in golds and oranges. And it's just gorgeous.
So cool.
Jack says, I think Elaine's right, sis. Maybe we'd better go. I've got Dad's car outside. And Topaz says, Jack, the drama in Munch's writing and the way Perlin executed it in these last few pages is superlative stuff for me. Like, I was totally invested in this hospital stuff and all this drama of Buck. Like, it pulled me in because the alley fight with Moon Knight was just kind of corn dog thing. And then this totally had me roped in. No,
and this is why, I mean, when this kind of drama, when this kind of, that you see in a lot of romance comics from the 50s and 60s, like this is why, like, I know romance comics obviously are very problematic in lots of ways, but when the dramatic storytelling is done so well, you really get invested in it. Like even though, I mean, they're just kind of silly stories,
disposable,
but they're not. That's the thing. That's the true key about romance comics. And my wife and I started reading them because we're like, oh, these are ridiculous. Like, this is so misogynist and hilarious, but goddamn, you kind of get sucked in a little bit.
Oh, I always do.
And that's because of the art. It's because of the medium of comics. And you can get so emotionally invested in stuff. And yeah, this hospital stuff is the best part of this issue.
Oh yeah.
The fights are generic and dumb, and it's cool to see Moon Knight and he looks different, but yeah, this stuff is so good. And I think that the next page is the best example Like, this is my favorite page, and it's weird that it's my favorite page of the issue, but I have lots to say about it. So
no, I agree. Before you started, I just want to second everything you said. Like, this whole sequence here has been the emotional core of the issue far and away. Not just the emotional core, the artistic core, everything. Like, this is where everything fires on all cylinders and works. The action stuff, the stuff that the kids showed up for, to me, is the clunkiest part.
Yeah, it's generic. It's stupid. It's cookie cutter. So this next page, this could be considered like a classic golden age layout. It's a 9-panel grid, and it's not an action-packed page at all. It's not even the action from, the hospital, but it demonstrates perfect comic storytelling. I don't know why I got so captivated with this, but okay. So the first panel is they're still at the hospital, and Topaz is telling Jack, like, oh, under the circumstances, we thought it might be best if Lissa stayed with me tonight at my room. And so she's kind of hemming and hawing a little bit and being like, yeah, to keep our minds off Buck, and also because, well, and then Jack in the next panel says, go on, Topaz, say it. Because I've got the moon cooties, and you don't want to be around when I sprout fangs again. Terrible. And he's like, well, but I don't blame you. I'd stay away from me if I could. So why should you two stick with me? And he just kind of, runs out. But from that panel on, it's basically, this page is Jack driving from the hospital back to the house. But every panel is a different angle. It's a different cinematic angle. So he's walking away in this very beautiful. I love that panel of him walking away.
Oh God, the canted angle and like the kind of a expressionistic. Yeah.
And it's like 3 colors. It's like blue, black, and yellow. Well, yeah, and white too in the background. But okay, God, it's just fucking gorgeous. And then he's in the car, and you see him driving. You see the pain lines on his hand. And there's lots of narration, but I don't give a shit about it because I'm just looking at the pictures. And so then we're a front angle of Jack. Then suddenly it's outside. So this is that weird comics time thing where we're seeing him drive to the house, but it's just these different vignettes, yet somehow in like a way that only people like Eisner know how to do. It's demonstrating movement in a way that is so beautiful. Am I weird for making a big deal out of this page?
No, I love this page.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Yeah, and then the last 3 are perfect too. It's this weird like low angle of Jack kind of opening the door, and he gets the key in the door, and then it's a front of him opening it. It says when the door swung open very slowly, and he says, "Dad?" And the narration says, "It was dark in the house. I didn't like that." And then we hear Philip's voice from the other room say, "In the den, Jack, there's someone here to see you." And I like the narration said, "Northrop again? Or someone else from the cops? I couldn't afford to be questioned this close to the moon. Still, I'd never been celibate when it comes to curiosity." Fuck, why do I read narration? It just ruins the fucking page every time.
Between moon cooties and celibate when it comes to curiosity.
Moon cooties. God damn it, man.
I mean, yeah, Munch smeared some monkey shit on this page with the words, but man, the Perlins.
God damn, the Perlins, man. Yeah, it really saved this issue, and it just reminded me, this is why I love comics. This is why comics are a completely unique medium that will never go away. Yeah. Although maybe it's good that we had Munch's writing, because when Jack gets in the car and those lines are radiating out from his hand, maybe, because I thought, does his hand have wolf sense, like Spidey sense? Yeah. But it's like, oh, no, that's right. He broke it. Yeah.
No, great stuff. To recap, Philip has said, "Hey, Jack, I'm in the den. Come in here, son." And so next page, he walks into the den, and you see the guy we've described as Moon Knight, garbed head to toe in a silver, I'm guessing some kind of male outfit with a cowl and cape, a big moon on his chest, crescent blades on his belt, and truncheons in his boot things. And it says, "So I entered smack into Weirdo. My stepfather looked worried behind him." And he doesn't, by the way. Philip does not look worried at all. He actually looks like a conspirator to me. But
he does.
And Moon Knight says, "Hello, Russell. They told me to announce myself as the Moon Knight. Pretty stupid name, but it'll do as far as you're concerned." And Jack's not having none of this. He says, "Yeah? And how am I concerned? Who are you besides a lunar crusader rabbit? Yes, lunar crusader rabbit. Kind of a odd call out there.
Just shoot me in the face.
And then some more Munchian weirdness. His voice was muffled under the silver gauze, which covered his face like ectoplasm. That was something else I didn't like. As Moon Knight continues, let's say I'm a working man, Russell, out to do my job and collect my bread. I really can't stand his working class, whatever Munch is going for with Moon Knight's dialogue in this, really not even knowing who Spectre became. Like just this, my bread. I don't know.
He talks like a thug on Adam 12 or something.
Yeah.
You know, or like on
right.
Dragnet.
It's like Shocker, or whoever you were saying before, right? Like Rhino, or
it's just as cheesy and unimaginative as you could get.
So he flashes back and says, I took this job down at the waterfront, as a sleazy place. I went to this warehouse. He goes inside. Turns out this warehouse is not some dingy warehouse. This warehouse actually hides a very high-tech and sleek den for expensive businessmen who are just trying to shape the economy and make some coin. The inside looks like a submarine or like undersea gardens, but with some money. But
I love undersea gardens.
He approaches these guys and they say, so you're Mark Spector. And this is Mark with a K because he is actually Mark with a C, right? Later on.
He is. Yeah, this is different.
And so we see this panel full of businessmen sitting on a long table, and we see the character of Moon Knight, but you never see his face. He's always over the shoulder or his face is in shadow. And he says, yeah, I'm Spectre. Who are you? I say, well, we'll get to that in time, Mr. Spectre. Right now, I find your dossier immensely interesting. And then we get this, like, Munch just throwing everything you can to make this guy a badass. So I'm going to read it because it's a hell of a word balloon.
It's also half the panel.
It is half the panel, literally.
Oh, God.
You might need to include this one in the feed, actually, too.
I know.
Because I think people think we exaggerate.
We don't.
Soldier of fortune, mercenary, veteran of 3 African wars, 5 South American revolutions, brief flirtation with the CIA, weapons expert, versatile practitioner of virtually all the martial arts, ex-prize fighter, Marine commando for 8 years prior to beating a lieutenant within an inch of his life, etc. And working over Mark Spector's shoulder so we do not get his face at it. He's still a mystery man. So your research department is hot stuff. So what? I was told there'd be money down here. What do I do to get it?
Yeah, boy.
Back to the not so great stuff after that really high for me of the hospital drama.
I know. Yeah, so on the, unless you have any more, I wanted to go on to the next page.
Good.
So I like that it was, the committee leader tells Spectre that, I admire your directness, Mr. Spectre, and shall endeavor to emulate it. First, we want you to open that compartment now rising from the table, which I do like their fancy table. Mm-hmm. Then he's like, and then don the rather unique costume you will find inside it. And
did they rent the skippers for the whole day? Or
it is a skipper.
Long John Silver.
With a really fancy table.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah. No, it's like the table that Frank Truman has in Twin Peaks: The Return.
Oh yeah,
the computer like rises out of it. And so he says, you need to utilize every weapon accompanying that costume as well as your inherent abilities to capture and deliver to us a werewolf named Jack Russell. Upon delivery, you will receive this $10,000. And then Spectre's like, oh, and yeah. So then we go back to Casa Russell. And he says, that's the story, Russell. Me, I don't believe in werewolves, but the committee's got 10 grand that does. So who am I to argue? The narration says, the committee again. I thought their tents had been folded up long ago. So yeah, we get a return of the committee. Did you like that? Were you happy to see the committee again? Is that the answer? Yeah.
I'm still looking at the guy fanning the $10,000 at Mark Spector.
Well, that's what you do with a stack of $10,000.
But his face, he looks like if Dan Clowes drew a televangelist. Well, it looks like Cowboy Wally, But I mean, it looks
Yes.
like Dan Clow's drawing a televangelist, like with some like "Why I Hate Christians" or something in 8-Ball Comics. Like it's he's got a scrunchy face. I don't know, man.
Yeah, so that's the new head of the committee, I guess. Yeah. So
he's Gary Thunder.
Oh my god.
He's here to avenge his older brother. As long as he's not Gary Glitter, right?
Oh, Gary Thunder. Can we change his Comic Find bio and make a stub for this guy, Gary Thunder? So
I'm sorry. I honestly, I thought the committee was goofy.
Yeah.
As a concept, I kind of like that they were trying to create a shadow organization that had something nefarious plans for Jack and the Beast, but it never really panned out that well. So I'm game for them to show up again to raise their head. I think this is, I don't know. What was their plan? I forgot what their plan.
Their plan hasn't changed. Remember, they just want people to consume. They want fear to go up.
They just want fear to goose the economy.
So people will buy that quadraphonic stereo system.
So there wasn't some. Am I thinking of different stuff where it's like they needed like his blood is magic, and was that?
That's not the committee. No, I don't think so. That was every other.
That's everybody else.
Stupid ass villain. No, the committee is all about fear. Equals spending.
Swami Riva and Taboo maybe or something. Okay.
Yeah, no, they just, I think you said it best. They just want people to be afraid so they'll buy more copies of Led Zeppelin 4.
Cool. So which one of these is Jeff Bezos?
Exactly.
Because Pandemic was all about making panic and comfort purchases.
Yep. So, yeah, I guess we make fun of the committee, but maybe they win in the end. Well, that's the whole con. They do win in the end. They
always win in the end.
Yeah. God damn it. All right. So, yeah. So Moon Knight's been telling this story. And he says, that's my story. So you got a choice, Russell. Either you come with me the easy way or I deliver bruised goods. And so, yeah, Jack is kind of figuring out what to do. But then Philip, who we know is impulsive, just jumps on Moon Knight and holds him, saying, "Run, Jack! I'll hold him as long as I can." And then her narration says, "I hesitated, ripped with indecision, then felt the first shooting flood of the change and split at a fast scramble." Philip's holding Moon Knight. He says, "Hurry, Jack, he's too strong." And yeah, you can kind of see Jack's look of, discomfort because, yeah, like you said, he's starting to change.
And he's also looking back like with consternation, like, do I leave my stepdad / uncle in the hands of a cold-blooded mercenary?
No, he's done that before as he's about to change. He just anyone that doesn't know that he's about to change it to a werewolf is like, what the fuck's wrong with that guy? He's just running away.
Yeah.
And leaving his loved ones in danger.
I did kind of like, again, there's not a lot to like with Munch here, but when Moon Knight kind of says, do I deliver bruised goods? He says, "My head was swimming through queasy nausea as he stalked forward. Was it the pain in my hand or had the moon festered into a darkening sky?" Just that kind of fetid, weird, overwrought, yeah. So yeah, Philip sacrifices himself. One for the team here. I love this top row here on the next page.
Me too.
It says, "Outside, the Moon Knight's words were drowned by a sound from the roof. A helicopter? I didn't care. The agony wouldn't let me." And this is a bunch of horizontal kind of I-beam column panels. And you see Jack running out of the house and like kind of clutching at his chest. There's still pain waves radiating out of his right hand, but he's starting to change. And that looks to be like some like quarter machine temporary tattoo from like a monster series or like, Cracker Jack box. You got a temporary tattoo saying like the werewolf changes. And I would have, talked about that for years that I got that one. And I love the next panel as he's somehow gone from wherever their house is in Brentwood or wherever it is, Westwood. He's immediately in the city and he's busting through these people in the alley. So it's kind of setting us up to the end of the flashback or forward.
Yes.
In media res. And he's changed. I don't know how it looks in yours, but like he is completely covered in fur, but he has blonde hair as he's busting through these civilians. And one guy's going, "What the?" And he jumps into an alley just as he changes. And there's another great panel of him tearing his shirt off and growling as the last vestiges of Jack, which is his strawberry blonde hair are gone, and he's covered in fur. And the helicopter has followed him, and we find out that that was Moon Knight's chopper. And he says, "That's our man up ahead, Frenchie, and he's just made me a believer in werewolves." So people are starting to run as the beast kind of rages, and there's palm trees, and it's two colors. It's purple and blue, which I love that night color scheme they use a lot of times.
Me too.
And it says, "Who'd blame him? His slit eyes were glued to the strange flying thing which chased him, and the weird man thing sliding down from its belly as Moon Knight climbs down a rope ladder from the helicopter." And the beast looks back at this happening and is like, "Rrr." And the Moon Knight's pursuit clinched the fact that my stepfather had been injured. But of course, the werewolf wasn't even aware of Philip Russell's existence. So, yeah, obviously Moon Knight didn't get held back by Philip Russell too long.
No.
Started following Jack and has approached him now.
It was, I don't know why this issue, I started thinking about just how many bystanders in LA have seen a werewolf in like the last 6 months. But it's only the two cops that really even care or believe in it. But like, swear to God, 100 people have seen Jack change in like downtown LA. Well, think of all the people in front of Man's Theater. Like, oh my God.
But I think that they kind of covered that base by saying like, oh, there must be some promotion for a new
that's true. Yeah,
horror
you're right.
flick.
But so many alleys and so many people running away and getting the shit kicked out of them, and muscle-bound Mannies getting thrown around. And so, yeah, I know. But no, I agree with you. I really like those first 4 panels. I think those are really good. And you're right. They do have a temporary tattoo look to them.
Or like Mexican like cards, you get out of those monster cards. You ever seen those?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I love those, man.
Yeah, those are so cool. On the next page, Moon Knight leaps down from the helicopter and like plants a silver-plated boot like in the beast's back. And the narration reads, besides he had other things on his mind, like the Moon Knight's silver-plated boot. The sound faded, the helicopter left, and the werewolf got wasted. Which I thought, was super silly. Oh, it's another temporary tattoo panel there.
Totally.
Of Moon Knight giving another one of his kicks.
His savate kicks.
With
a palm tree in the foreground. I love all the palm trees here.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then, so now we're finally back to where we started on the opening page. It says, which brought us back to the present. Moon Knight gloating as he slowly closed for the end, my hand blistering with pain and my foe's hand studded with silver spikes. And the beast says, I decided to never feel those spikes again. I decided to slash. I decided to slay. And so, the werewolf's finally starting to fight back, and he starts to jump at Moon Knight, and Moon Knight just fucking kicks him again. Like he's just been kicking him this whole time. Like I think he's using his kicks a lot more than those fucking studded gauntlets, really.
Cestus,
that's right. And and Moon Knight describes,
So what's the leaper? What's his name?
Oh shit!
Z-Leaper.
Z-Leaper. Yeah, sorry, you have to say
Batroc.
it like that. Yeah, Batroc. Yeah, he is. He's all kicks and French. It's just that French kickboxing. Was it a thing in the mid 70s? Did we miss that? Were we either not born or 1 week old?
Listeners, do our research for us.
Yeah. So then Moon Knight says, the committee wants you alive, but you're going to force me to kill you. They'll settle for what they can get.
Shock.
Yeah. I did like that.
Punches him with the cestus.
Yeah.
And then this guy I like to call Citizen Downer of all of the onlookers who are watching this says, what's the matter with us? Why are we standing here gawking at them? They could turn on us at any moment. Kill us all. I'm going to the police.
What a baby.
I guarantee you right now he's on Nextdoor talking about somebody leaving their car outside on the,
Yeah. There's some
been there for 3 weeks.
There's some scary looking teens walking around the neighborhood.
Yeah. And so they've called the police, and the police answer, a what? Fighting a what? Look, you'll have to calm down. Speak more slowly. And you don't have to shout either. Yeah, that's better. What? Are you sure? God, the one-sided phone call thing and drama is so painful.
It is.
Where? Yeah, we'll send a car. Thanks. So they're saying, it looks like, Northrop wasn't crazy after all. He's like, how's that, Eddie? Some comic book weirdo is slugging it out with a werewolf on a street corner in Westwood. And the guy says, a werewolf? That does sound like Northrop's bag. Why don't you call him in on it? He's like, remember, he's on vacation. Right now, he's 1,000 miles away and 50,000 feet up. And we cut to that plane. And the flight attendant says, "Will you be deplaning in Haiti, Mr. Northrop?" He says, "Yes, ma'am, I will." And then he gets real quiet with small text. "You bet I will. Got business there. For instance, the silver bullet marked with the name." And he's holding his bullets in his chair on the flight, looking at them.
On a plane, he's just menacingly holding a silver bullet. Oh, times
muttering to himself.
Simpler times.
For instance, this silver bullet marked with the name, and we cut to Raymond Coker. And this, again, weird comics time, because last time we saw him, Gisela of the 1,000 Years was saying, "You've got the curse of the man beast," or whatever she said. And now we're cutting back to his reaction. So even though a bunch of time has passed, none has passed, essentially. And he's like, but how did you know? Gisela of the 1,000 Years knows all the dark secrets of the soul. My powers of voodoo and the feelings of life from the mask. These are the things which tell me you are cursed by the mark of the man beast. Hey, don't blame me. Blame Douglas.
I am blaming Douglas. That's exactly who I'm blaming. Yeah, Gisela of the 1,000 Years. So, and she looks different in every issue too.
Yep.
We've gotten this is like the third flashback.
She was clearly European in at least one of the issues, and now she is clearly Tabooian, whatever Taboo's ethnicity is.
Yeah, she just
purple gray.
Purple gray. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, next page. Coker's like, "Yes, that was true. I was a werewolf, but I've been cured, Gisela. I've come to ask your help in a different matter. Death, Gisela, death which has killed." And then she obviously knows what he means, even though he's not being clear at all. She says, "Oh, then you speak of Zuvembi." I'm like, oh, man. You speak of that which even Gisela cannot control. You have come here for nothing.
So yeah, do we need to talk about Zuvembi?
Yeah, we do.
So did you know where this came from? Like I did a little bit of, okay. So we've talked a bit on the show about the relaxing of the comics code with horror stuff, but there was no literary source for zombies. So unlike werewolves and vampires, they couldn't point to something and say, no, this is a literary reference and therefore it's valid. So they went back to a story from Weird Tales that Robert E. Howard published called Pigeons from Hell, which is a fucking amazing short story. If you've not read Robert E. Howard, like Conan or Solomon Kane or whatever, Cole, and that's not your thing, whatever, read his horror stuff. It is amazing. He's one of my favorite weird fiction horror writers. But that term was introduced in that story as a practitioner of magic could drink this fluid and essentially make themselves a zombie with consciousness. So they're like an immortal, desiccated, strange corpse that haunts an area. If you have some purpose that, is more important to you than your soul, vengeance or whatever. So Zuvembi was introduced in that story. And so they took that and Marvel used it for quite a while because they couldn't use zombie. So, in Tales from the Zombie, they could because that was a magazine, which wasn't bound by the stricture of the comics code.
Yeah, they do. And in the first issue of Tales of the Zombie, they have to explain what a zombie is because it's not like today. Like it's not, it's totally everywhere today, but it really wasn't as much, and people needed to be slightly educated on what that was.
Yeah, and particularly the concept of zombie that we know was created 7 years before by George Romero.
Yep.
Prior to that, in Hollywood or any other kind of folk tales, zombies were voodoo. They were a magic or at least something based around voodoo practice. So this is bringing back that type of thing. That this is a voodoo practice. This is not the virulent zombie is still rated X and at the edges of consciousness. So, for the most part.
Polite society still is pretty much in the dark.
Till Dawn of the Dead.
Till Dawn of the Dead, yes.
Which is a few years away.
Yeah. But yeah, we switch back to Topaz and Lissa. Lissa says, "Oh, your room is very nice, Topaz." Topaz says, "Thank you, Lissa, but we both know it's not the room which is on our minds." Lissa, "You're right, Topaz. It's not bad enough that Buck's in the hospital, almost dead, but there has to be another full moon tonight. I can't help thinking about it, worrying about what's happening to Jack." And we see just for that one panel, we see, Moon Knight beating the shit out of the werewolf. And I love this this panel that's all in blues and blacks. You hear Lissa saying, worrying, or Topaz saying, worrying won't help anything, Lissa. But we see, the helicopters getting ready to come down. And then in a panel right below that, we see Frenchie smash through the window saying, good evening, mesdemoiselles. The name is Frenchie. I must know which of you is Jack Russell's charming sister, or you must both accompany me in a ride. Oui? Oh, Frenchie. He's just so ridiculous.
So again, this is so amusing that these beloved characters that are around 45 years later, have become fleshed out, fully realized people. Like he's a man at arms, whatever you want to call him. Like for Moon Knight, I think he's gay, right? Like he's one of the characters they've retroactively made a person with diverse sexuality.
Yes.
I'm all about. But it's just funny that this guy came out of like, what's like a menacing ethnic or foreign. I don't know.
He's just such a ridiculous like caricature of a bunch of different things combined. But no, Frenchie ends up being a very fleshed out, very cool character. And for all of Moon Knight's run, like he's a beloved character. Like everyone loves Frenchie. He's really cool.
Mark's anchor. Like
he is.
The world. Yeah.
But he's just fucking ridiculous in this.
So my note for this page was just that it was really nice seeing the supporting cast getting a little bit of room to do something. Like, even if it's them standing around saying, where's Poochie? What about Poochie? Yeah. Like just seeing like Lissa and Topaz be real when Jack's not in the room, like was
it is nice.
So on the next page, we cut back to the street fight and it's not going well. And I'm assuming this is Citizen Downer still saying, where the blazes are the police? What do we pay taxes for? So he's a libertarian. God damn. I fucking hate those guys. They're basically conservatives who like to smoke pot. So the running joke nowadays.
Yep.
So at this point, the Beast is kind of, he's favoring his broken hand, which I think is much his way of trying to say he's babying it and favoring his other hand, which is not hurt. But I don't know, it sounds like a backwards way of saying it, but I knew what he meant.
Yeah.
So they're slashing. And at this point, Moon Knight reaches down into his boot thing and pulls out a truncheon. And Jack thinks it was definitely silver. And he hits him hard with it. And the Beast, this explosion of pain, scump. And Moon Knight says, listen, you hairy freak. And then he punches again with his cestus. We can keep this up all night, or he can make it easy and just drop. The narration says maybe it was his words and maybe the punch. But either way, the last straw had fallen and the Beast is done. He says the werewolf exploded berserk, blasting the Moon Knight with everything he had and with my right hand. So the Beast has said, fuck it. My hand hurts, but I am going to do this anyway. And slashes away at Moon Knight. Twack. Pain sliced through me like rusty barbed wire laced to a buzzsaw. It filled me. I couldn't see, couldn't move. And he's just clenching his claw, just his eyes wincing in pain. Could do nothing but feel the pain and whine. And he's actually whining, worrying.
Yeah, it looks like he's almost biting his hand.
Yeah. And Moon Knight's down on the ground going, ugh, completely shocked.
Yeah, the storytelling on this page is pretty good. But for an action page, it's also kind of forgettable.
Yeah, I like the art. Like I said, where the Beast gets hit with the truncheon and punch with the cestus glove fists. Yeah. Those are pretty remarkable, but the rest of it's just okay.
I know. So yeah, they're both down on the next page, but Moon Knight gets up first and he says, "Now, Beast," as my buddy Frenchie might say, "touché," and just smacks him on the back of the head with the truncheon. And he says, "And speak of the devil, good boy, Frenchie, you're just in time, 'cause mangy puss here is down for good."
Be careful how you use that insult.
Oh God!
Don't just go throwing that around people willy-nilly.
No, definitely not.
Mangy puss.
God, fuck. So then, that's another one of those really cool blue, black, and white panels, and it's Frenchie and his helicopter, and he has Topaz and Lissa tied up. Lissa says, "Oh my God, Topaz, Jack's down there. He's down there, Topaz, and he's getting killed." So now we're facing the Beast and Moon Knight. Moon Knight's hitting him again with the truncheon, saying, "I said you were down, freak face. I wasn't talking for my health."
Mark Spector hates the letter G.
God, he does. He's dropping his G's like crazy the last half of this issue. There's just no consistency to his
it's a little
his lingo, I know, it's all over the fucking place. So he says, I wasn't talking for my health. Narration says, nor mine, whatever was left of it. I do kind of like that last panel. It's just like the Moon Knight's boot. The beast is down. We kind of get the silhouette of Moon Knight's hood in the background. It's a little confusing, but still kind of a cool panel.
I think there's a cool layout.
Yeah. And
the last page is a full page illustration. And we've got Moon Knight grabbing what remains of Jack's shirt. Is that what he's doing? Like, is it just tatters? Or does he have a weird silver band that he's wrapped around the beast's torso?
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's one of his weird little bands. That was the only way I could make sense of it, because the beast did not have any type of clothing left on his body. So that's a part of Moon Knight's cape that's detachable, let's say. Okay.
So the beast just has his tattered blue shirt coming out of the top of his green pants, which he has had lately. So Frenchie's helicopter is hovering above, and Moon Knight is dragging the beast through this crowd of people towards there. And he says, out of the way, fans. Payday is just around the corner, and I'd rather kill this hairy monster than let those cops cut me off for my bread. As the cops are pulling into this scene, finally arriving with their sirens wailing and their lights flashing. I don't know. There's nothing really much to read here. It just says something hot and wet gurgled in this werewolf's throat over his lips. Then my mind oozed into blackness. Next, the werewolf unleashed more savage than ever before. A shocking twist. The cages of the committee and more. And the conclusion called Wolf Beast Moon Knight. What do you think of this last page here?
Yeah, I like the last page. I mean, the faces of the bystanders are also kind of like,
interesting.
Not ideal, but I love the copter. I do think it's an interesting choice to show them from behind.
Yeah.
And it's cool. You know, I don't mean to jump right into final thoughts, but
please do.
I'm conflicted about what to say about this issue, because it's a very important issue. It's the debut of a very loved character. There's lots of cool visual storytelling in it. Lettering's great. Coloring's great.
But as a whole, it's hard to like.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that I can imagine next year when we're watching Disney Plus, we're watching the Moon Knight show. I almost, sometimes when you watch a show, that like a Marvel show or a Marvel movie, and you're like, oh, I hope they do a little nod to like their first appearance. I really hope they don't do a nod to this first appearance. Because as big fans as we are of Werewolf by Night, like, I'm like, no, you don't need to do that. It's fine. Like, just gloss over this.
Well, actually, if they were to include Jack Russell and introduce the werewolf into the MCU,
obviously we want that.
I would take that. But if I don't think this is the way to introduce him.
No, I don't need Oscar Isaac talking about that he needs to make bread.
Yeah, I could definitely see once they establish an origin. I'm assuming they're going with the later developed sophisticated character with the Khonshu and all that stuff.
Yeah.
If they somehow wanted to jump back and tell a story like, early in my career, I took this gig, which was this ill-advised, like, supernatural thing, and I was out of my element, and they actually made the werewolf like powerful or something. Yeah. I don't know. I can see that be cool.
We'll see. So I've been and I know we'll talk about this next episode too, but I think we need to start making bets on if Jack Russell's going to show up in the show.
I feel like that's already been spoiled or leaked.
I mean, has it kind of?
I think it's been leaked that someone is playing Jack Russell, and that Jack Russell / the werewolf is appearing at least in some capacity.
Okay.
I might have made that up, but I believe
maybe. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I think I don't know if I've heard that yet though, but it would be a missed opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, depends on how, I don't know, like, I like the whole world, the big world. Like how the Netflix shows did their own thing, but at the same time they would reference the events of the Avengers film. I know the Darkhold has been introduced in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or whatever it's called, S.H.I.E.L.D. What's it called?
Yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Mhm.
So the Darkhold exists. It's been reaffirmed in WandaVision. So it's a great opportunity to tie Moon Knight into the rest of the world and bring the monster in. I don't know. I mean, like Universal attempted to do that dark universe and make their own Marvel with all their monsters, and it failed miserably. But what if Marvel's just like, it's Disney. It's like we have no bottoms to our pockets.
No.
We can actually introduce the werewolf in Moon Knight with Oscar Isaac as a goddamn star and establish there's monsters in this world, and then just basically plant the seed for Man-Thing and Tomb of Dracula and what I mean,
that has to be like a phase 6 kind of thing.
Disney
right?
prints money, right?
Yeah,
so all somebody has to do there is care. Like Kevin Feige or whatever his name is.
Yeah. No, it would be stupid for them not to. And it would be stupid for them not to consult with us.
Yes. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I know Ben Taboo, but like.
Yeah, Ben and Taboo too, but definitely us and Brad. Like we need to be consulted on this.
Yeah. I know Brad's not a big
we're the ones that care.
Genre film guy as much as we are with horror, but Brad needs to be involved. No, Ghost Rider, for fuck's sake. I mean, seriously, they've already introduced him. I haven't seen it. I know they went with the Latino, current guy.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I liked when Ghost, but that was the last season I watched of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I thought it was really cool. No, I swear to God, 8 years from now, they're going to do this big crossover event that is Midnight Suns.
Yeah, I would love that.
So that's just going to happen.
Shit, I guess Morbius already is doing what we just talked about, huh? They've already broken the seal on that.
Yeah, and I think like we were talking with Brad, like that Morbius movie was made like 2 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
Like it's been done forever. And who knows with Sony? But Sony doesn't own Man-Thing.
That's right. That's a Sony property.
Yeah, they don't own Werewolf.
That's right. They own Morbius because of Spider-Man, right? That's why okay.
Then Morbius, just that. Oh, the almighty dollar! It confuses so much.
They made that Man-Thing film in like 2001.
Yeah,
in Australia or New Zealand, and it's supposed to be virtually unwatchable and unrecognizable with its source material. So let's do it right.
Yeah,
that Swamp Thing series that the DC streaming service did was great.
It was great.
It was good. It was solid.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, I really liked it.
And the great thing about Man-Thing would be like it's a way on a Disney Plus or whatever to do. It wouldn't be a film. He's not a film guy. His character is about telling other stories, and he's a framing device. He's almost like a crypt keeper or Kane or what I mean.
Well, yeah, he is the crypt keeper of the Nexus of Realities, which has been established already in WandaVision. It's happening right now in fucking Loki. All the different timelines that are happening, like Man-Thing is right on the edge of all these stories that are happening today in Disney. So
yeah. God, I wish they would do a good Man-Thing story.
I know.
Yeah, but I mean, he'd be great for episodic stuff because of that whole, the nature of the comic was just people would come into contact with the swamp or the Nexus, and he is he's essentially a force of nature.
Yeah,
that is a lens to which we meet these people and their stories are told. It'd be amazing.
No, it would. It really would.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've been waiting this whole time for Disney to exhaust the A-list Marvel characters to get to the cool B and C-list characters that you and I love so much.
Yeah.
That's why we're getting a fucking Moon Knight show. Yeah.
And could be more thrilled with it.
I know. I can't wait. Really, really excited.
And I'm very excited to talk to these guys about their deep love for the character, because I dig him and I enjoy a good Moon Knight story, but I've never gone over the edge to the fanatic, and I want to hear the love. I love hearing love.
Yeah, I'm anxious to talk about it with them too, because really, I mean, the last 7 or 8 years, I have bought every Moon Knight comic that's come out from Marvel. I've bought every run, like from Ellis's on, pretty much.
That's the last one I read was Ellis's.
Yeah, but then
that's the suit, right?
Yeah, that's the Mr. Knight.
Man, that was like the psychedelic one. Kind of like a trippy, weird.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it's trippy and weird, but it's also very street level, very like private eye, almost.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, it's Warren Ellis, so of course it has trippy, weird shit. But yeah, and after that is Jeff Lemire's run with Greg Smallwood, which is amazing. Then you got Max Bemis and Greg Smallwood, And yeah, the only modern run that I didn't really get into, oddly enough, was the Bendis and Malieve one that came before the Warren Ellis run.
I never read that one, actually. The last one that I bought was Charlie Houston. And was that Finch? I forgot who drew that.
So that's probably like 2003,
6.
maybe, or 6. Okay, yeah.
It was around, like, it was kind of tied into Civil War whenever that happened, I think.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
But I did not care for that at all.
No,
I really tried to like it, and I bought it for like 6 months, and I was like, I'm just not feeling this, man. Moon Knight's such an interesting character, too, because virtually every creative team that gets their hands on him reinvents him in some way. For the most, even if it's not a major overhaul, they add something, or the take is very unique. Yeah. And so I feel like he's a character more than any other that you can say, like, I really like so-and-so's run. I really like this. I did not care for what this person did with him. Like, he's very malleable, maybe even to his detriment. I don't know. I don't think he's that malleable. I think people feel like there's this ammo or something to do these weird takes on him that don't always work, but when they do, I dig them. Yeah,
and then there's a new series coming out, I think about a month from now.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know.
August or July, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's sometime at the end of July, and it's I'm not familiar with the two creators that are doing it. I think McNiven is doing the covers. I think we know him from Old Man Logan and Steve.
Civil War.
Yeah, Steve McNiven, Steve McNiven. So,
what do you know? Who's writing it?
They're two creators that I've heard of and kind of kicking around, but I don't think I've ever read any of their stuff.
So is either one of them Ethan Van Sciver?
I didn't think so.
Oh, good, because he's a Comicsgate guy, and I hate his guys.
He's a Comicsgate guy. That would be disastrous.
No, I feel like I've read all these promos and like stuff about this coming up, and I feel like I should have noted the creator names, and I did not.
I did. I just was not familiar with them.
Okay. That's cool. One thing I loved before we, I'll cap this off because we're having guests, but I did love in that Ellis, I think, run when somebody asks that, what's his like street level guy name where he's wearing the suit and like just the white mask over his head? Mr. Knight. Yeah. Somebody basically says like, why would you wear a white suit doing what you do? And he's like, people are going to see you coming, wherever. And he's like, that's exactly what I want. Like I love that.
It's the coolest line of the run. And he says it in the first issue. I reread the first issue on Marvel Unlimited last night just to kind of get more of a feel for it. And yeah, it's a really, really great run.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of interesting stuff that runs through all of the treatments of the character where in service to this god, he is in varying shades immortal or resurrectable, or he's, he can take the pain. He can do things that a normal hero wouldn't be able to do because he has absolute faith in his god that he serves, that he's a avatar of.
So many layers that you can exploit.
So many layers.
Character.
Totally. I'm stoked to talk to those guys. Cool. So I think we both agree that the writing wasn't great and not the greatest intro to this character, but Perlin, man, the Perlins. Yeah, the Perlins were really on point. They did a great work telling the story. Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to next week then. Werewolf Multimedia. So yeah, for other media this week, we watched the next in the series of the Paul Naschy werewolf films. This one is Dr. Jekyll, El Hombre Lobo from 1972, directed again by Leon Klimovsky, and it stars Paul Naschy, who reprises his role as the Wolfman, Valdemar Daninsky. And he also plays Mr. Hyde in this one too, hilariously. So as you know, last one we watched, the Werewolf of Walpurgis, or what was the other name of it? The Werewolf versus the Vampire Woman. Yeah, the American is Werewolf versus Vampire Woman. Yeah, and I have a feeling that, the internet was right. That is probably going to be the best one. It was my favorite, as well as the first one, Mark of the Werewolf. Can I also put a button on that? This is also the last one that is the... you and I kind of established that films 2 and 3 felt like they were Earth 2 or whatever. Like that was not this thing. And it's La Marca del Hombre Lobo and Walpurgis Night 1. So this is like the end of that world. After this point, his origin starts changing kind of randomly, and then the next 3 films, he's bitten by vampires and there's a Yeti fight and he goes to Japan. Like it gets random, but he's not the same guy outside of having the same name, essentially. Yeah. So this is the end of this Waldemar Daninsky that we've liked so much. I'm going to have a drink to that, actually.
Yeah, me too.
I just needed to finish the shot. We've not had enough drinking occasions.
No, we haven't.
Is Jack growing up too much?
We need to change the rules, man. I could have used more drink.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah, I guess just a tiny synopsis of how this movie, it starts with a newlywed couple who decide to honeymoon in Transylvania, which I thought was a great decision.
And also dead parents.
Yeah, to base their honeymoon around making a pilgrimage to his dead parents' graves. So, it's romantic.
It is.
Yeah, but as they do this, they're attacked by some ruffians. The husband is killed and the wife is saved by Daninsky. Hilariously, because
what?
So
badassedly?
Yeah, badassedly. Sorry. So
Jesus.
Yeah, I love that one of them, he just picks a guy up and bear hugs him and crushes his chest
until blood comes out of his mouth.
Blood spurts out of his mouth, and then the other guy he knocks to the ground, takes a giant stone and crushes his skull with it.
Yeah,
it was super badass and really funny.
These things happen to murderers and attempted rapists. So
yeah, so it's great. I mean, it feels good to watch these guys totally just get murdered.
But I do love that he's that strong, even in his human form.
Yeah, in his human form, which I was like, oh, Paul Naschy wrote that into the script himself. Of course, he's just like, no, of course I'm that strong. I can just bear hug a guy and crush him to death.
And that's his entrance.
Yeah, that's the entrance. That's his first scene. No, it was pretty great. So he saves the girl, takes her back to the castle. But then, the villagers come to, avenge one of the guys that, his brother was killed, was one of those terrible attempted murder rapists. And so I thought it was funny. So they basically whip the village up into a frenzy, and the villagers have torches. But I thought their pitchforks looked more like rakes to me. Did you see that?
Yeah, they were rakes.
They were totally rakes. Man, that made me laugh.
And as they were marching on, what do they call the name? I thought it said like Black Castle or something. It wasn't like Daninsky Castle. It had a corny kind of cartoonish name.
It had a stupid name.
But there's a bunch of really bad ADR and Foley work in this. So when the villagers are marching, you can hear like room sound, like room tone, like echo. It's like, hey, like it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it was not great. So yeah, the villagers basically run them out of town. And so the woman's like, oh, come to London with me. And so they end up going to London. He consults with the grandson of Dr. Jekyll, who says he can cure Waldemar's lycanthropy. And his plan is kind of didn't make any sense to me. Do you want to try and walk me through his plan for curing lycanthropy with the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde serum?
Sure. But before, let's back up a second. So this woman's new, so she's young, she's like 20s, and her husband's an older guy who gets killed by these ruffians. I mean, they're newlyweds and all, but she immediately falls in love with Waldemar.
Immediately.
Like, she wakes up in his house. Waldemar lives with his mom in this one. So in the last one, he lived with
his sister's gone, but his mom is there now.
Yeah, and the town calls her a witch. There's a horrifying scene where they have jumped her and cut her head off and hold it up to bolster like their courage. Like, look, the witch is dead. She wasn't even that hard to kill. Just bring all your silver. Let's make weapons. I really like this opening sequence. The first act of this was great. The trigger that gets them to go to London was as she's recovering, she wakes up in the night and looks down the courtyard and sees Waldemar turn into the beast. And he acknowledges her like up in her balcony and then like stalks off. So now she knows he's real. But the plan with the Jekyll descendant is to take, I might not get this right. So he has his grandfather's formula, which was an erroneous formula.
Yes.
It
did not work well.
Yes. So the idea, okay, now the more I'm thinking about it, the less I can explain it.
It makes no sense.
It felt a lot like Munch saw this before he wrote Werewolf by Night 24 with Deprave.
With Deprave, yeah, exactly.
Because Buck's idea was this guy's working on the Jekyll Hyde theory, and this might be able to suppress your wild side. And this one, he's saying, as the moon is about to rise, we will restrain you, inject you with the original formula or an altered version.
It's an altered version that he says is going to work this time. So yeah, makes him into Mr. Hyde. Then when he turns into Mr. Hyde, as he's turning into the werewolf,
it suppresses the lycanthropic change on a cellular, physical.
Yeah, it changes. It suppresses the lycanthropic change. Then they inject him with.
Then he has a cure, which he has worked out.
Yeah.
So the idea is, as you're turning into the werewolf, we turn you into Mr. Hyde, which suppresses the werewolf change, and then turn you back into Voldemort.
Yes. Okay. We needed to talk that out.
Yeah, I needed to also. No.
It was really, really confusing. And so the young Dr. Jekyll, the grandson of the original Dr. Jekyll, is played by an actor named Jack Taylor, who
he worked a lot in Euro horror.
Wow, he worked in Euro horror a lot.
Yes.
Do you know he was born in Oregon City?
Really? I had no idea. I knew who he was. I recognized him, but wow.
You know, it's funny. So I remember him from Conan the Barbarian, from that movie. He's a priest in that, if I'm correct. And then he's also the rare book dealer in Polanski's The Ninth Gate.
I've never seen that.
I remember him for some reason because he's such a creepy. I saw it years ago, and he's such a creepy character in it. So yeah, interesting guy. And he, I also thought it was funny. His very first gig, he was like some kind of character on the Jack Benny show. Like a strange career, really, really strange career. Yeah, but I liked him. I thought he was really good in this.
Yeah, I thought he was good too. He's always, like you said, he worked a lot.
Yeah, his IMDb page is vast.
And so can we get to the highlight?
Yeah, please take us to the highlight.
So Voldemort is supposed to go to the clinic and meet Dr. Jekyll. And for some reason, this is scheduled, I think it was intended actually, to be close to Twilight. So they want to restrain him and have the change happen so they can study it or something like that to see how the serum works or whatever. But unfortunately, technology fails and the elevator breaks down between floors. So it's just Voldemort and a nurse.
Yeah.
And this sequence where Voldemort changes into the werewolf and then tears the nurse's throat out, and then the elevator doors are restored, the service is restored, and he storms off and rampages, spitting blood up down his furry chin. God, that was awesome.
It was really awesome.
So good.
Yeah, and it just kind of, it kind of peters out a little bit after that. But the most hilarious thing I thought about this movie was Paul Naschy in a full, classic, Mr. Hyde outfit with the fucking top hat and the cane, and he's going around like swinging 70s London to the clubs, picking up ladies. He's just that's all I want to do is pick up ladies.
And that was really Trafalgar Square. I looked filming locations up, which it didn't need to be.
No, it totally didn't need to be.
And they didn't use any location audio because there's this echoey high heel Beetle boots sound on cobblestone, which doesn't make any sense. And just the sound of slot machines and people gambling as the ambient sound, which I guess. So what I didn't get, I should have watched the Stoned because I think I would have had fewer questions. Wait a minute. So Hyde is a persona that is accessed through the serum, because why would this guy have a predilection for an affinity for walking sticks and 1880s clothing? It's not like Bob in Twin Peaks. It's not like he can access us and he expresses himself and we're vehicles for Hyde to be Hyde. Hyde is our savage bestial side.
Yeah.
He's not a person. So I mean, why would Voldemort Daninsky want to dress up in 100-year-old clothes to go hunt women? It doesn't make any sense.
No, it didn't.
And why does he, I mean, if you're being kind, you would say that his hide, we need to talk about his hide. Voldemort Daninsky's hide form, if you're being nice, looks like evil Tobey Maguire symbiote from Spider-Man 3. And if you're being honest, it looks like Chris Gaines, the Garth Brooks alter ego. His hair's longer and parted in the middle, and it goes almost shoulder length, and he wears eyeliner. And it looks like Chris fucking Gaines. By the way, I downloaded that Chris Gaines special for you if you need to see it. But Anybody, if you want to see behind the music, Chris Gaines, it is still on YouTube or Vimeo or whatever right now at this moment. You can watch Garth Brooks pretend to be an alternative rock pop star named Chris Gaines who has a sex addiction. Right now.
Who wouldn't want to watch that right now?
As a VH1 episode, completely straight-faced.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, but that is, that's kind of how I felt about the rest of this movie.
A composite that was a fan dub. So most of this was a really nice transfer.
Yeah.
And the sex stuff that was cut out of most prints was inserted in a much lower quality. And I couldn't quite see how this even worked without it. As far as Jekyll's assistant is this beautiful woman who was an Argentinian actor named Myrta Miller. Mm-hmm. She's actually quite evil, and she's truly the villain of this thing. And she great. Wants Hyde to take over, and she wants to punish Shirley Corrigan's, whatever her character's name was, I forgot. But punish her because Jekyll loved her his whole life and never was realized. And they were lovers, but he really loved her. So there's a lot of sadism with nudity and bullwhips and cat o' nine tails and that kind of stuff. And I was trying to see it's very obvious where the inserts came in, where they dropped in the lower footage of the nudity and the brutality. But how did it work without that? I was trying to think what did the edit look like with it? It just would be gibberish. And it sucked that the only nudity we got was with violence, because that's my least favorite way to see nudity. Yeah,
it wasn't great, but I think we had a high watermark last movie, and that's probably going to be the best one. Like I said, this one was okay, but it was surprisingly boring for long stretches.
Yeah. I thought the first act again was really, really entertaining. The first hour I liked quite a bit when they're meeting Jekyll and planning out how this is going to work. Once Voldemort becomes Hyde, and it was a long last act.
Oh man, yeah, it was long. It was I don't know if I would quite recommend this. If you stopped at the last movie, the Werewolf versus the Vampire Woman, I would think you're going to get the best out of Paul Naschy. Yeah,
we're going to press on, but
we're definitely pressing on. But
this is the ending again of the kind of more traditional Emery Wolfenstein curse thing. So that being said, I would, if I were to reflect back on the first half of the series, or third, actually, no, half, I would say Mark of the Wolfman is an A. Monsters of Terror is a B-.
Ooh, that's generous.
Fury of the Wolfman is a C-. Also and generous. The Walpurgis Night is an A. Yeah. And this one is a B-.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would say watch the first one, Walpurgis Night or Werewolf and Vampire Woman. And I don't know, this one if you're feeling generous. I had it on while I was working on another screen and completely did not engage. And then today I took my lunch break and actually watched it 100% engaged. And I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. But the last act is a bummer.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I mean, it's fine. It was entertaining, kind of stupid. But yeah, I liked the other ones that you were saying were better. I liked those. I enjoyed watching those a lot more than this.
Yeah. And the prostitute that Hyde picks up in Trafalgar Square and kills.
Yes.
She had a sweet Lee Marvin poster on her wall. Did you see that?
I did. And doesn't that make it all worth it?
Yeah, it did for me. So in the end, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but let's put it this way. You know that thing where the beast has to be killed with silver by someone who loves the beast or the man?
Oh, you mean the end of every one of these movies?
Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's literally the ending of all of them. So, yeah. So I'm curious. After we have our friends on next episode, we will pick up with, what's the next one called? Return of Walpurgis Night?
Yeah, it's Return of Walpurgis Night is the translation, yeah.
But it's kind of a reboot with a new origin.
Okay.
So we'll see how it goes.
All right.
All right, folks. Well, thank you for joining us this week and going on this journey with us. As for Brad. What was I going to say? All right, listeners, thank you for joining us. All right, listeners, thank you for joining us this week. And make sure and be back here next week when we have Ray and Andrew on to talk about Werewolf by Night number 33. the second issue of Moon Knight's first appearance. All right, till we meet again beneath the full moon, furry ones, here's howling at ya.